That was one of the weakest claps in the world, man. You started strong, finished weak. Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. It's July 29th, 2023. Man, we're in the dog days of summer right now. End of July, getting into August. And this wood gym is roasting about 111. So we're going to make this thing about 30 minutes short with Mr. Personality over here. I got a new guy in town, straight from Miami. He was in here in April, and he was a great kid. He came back for some more, which is unusual for a lot. They usually come one time, one and done. His name is Andres. And Andres, I still can't say your last name.
Miyares.
Yes, and he's Cuban descent. His whole family is. Great family. And he's staying with me right now. So we're having a blast. We're eating a lot. We're laughing a lot. And we're training a lot. So welcome to the show, Andres.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, you're going to have to step it up a little on that, but we'll get him going. We'll get Catman going, and we'll talk about Catboy here in a minute. Okay, Andres, one question I always ask all the guests on here, the athletes. When did you know that you were different? And what I mean different is in sports, athletics, because obviously you're different. To come up here and train and invest and put the time in and sacrifice a lot of things at home, you got to be different for that. So when did you know that you were a pretty damn good athlete and you separated yourself from the pack?
I'd probably say in 8th grade that summer, because my grandparents, my whole family goes to see my grandparents in Connecticut a lot. And when I was little, we'd spend the whole summer there. And starting in 8th grade, I started to have to sacrifice that time to stay in school, go to all the summer workouts, work out with my dad before and sometimes after. And then I'd go to baseball practice sometimes on those nights. So just from a young age, like having to sacrifice something I really like to do, but because I knew that's what it took to be good at football and just everything else, you had to put that work in when you didn't really want to. And I think it's paid off.
And you're playing 2 sports currently, right?
Yes.
Which I love. If anybody knows me, they know that, thanks, yeah. Yeah, that has to be pushed up. That I like 2 sport guys, multi-sport guys. I think that's the best. Your work ethic is great. So you're one of my virtual guys that goes like 3 days a week at 5:30 in the morning in Miami in a garage set up Petrone style with your whole family. You know, I met your whole family in April when they came up, and
right.
You know, your dad, mom, the kids, everybody are savages and hard workers. Where'd you get that? I know we talked the Cuban descent, and we really do have a dialogue to talk about it, like your high school and the tradition that is. But is the work ethic like Cuban born? Was it made?
I think it's more my dad than everybody else. Like you said, I train virtual at 5:30 in the morning. Regardless of what time I'm getting up, he's getting up at that same time since I've been born, whether it's to run, lift, and then sometimes I'll come home from work and do the same thing. So just like I think a lot of times I learn from watching other people, and that's definitely where I got that from.
And you go to an all-boys school,
yes,
named Berlin.
1,500 dudes.
Right, 1,500 dudes. And the history and the claim to fame of that school is what?
Our most famous alum of all time is Fidel Castro.
Yeah, that's pretty big if anybody don't know who that is. So tell me a little of that. And tell me a little of the Bay of Pigs, you know, because I have the other Mendoza people from Miami, the other Cuban 2 brothers that are quarterbacks, and they talked about the same stuff. So I'm not a history buff, so explain a little of that to me.
So Belen is a Jesuit school, a Catholic school that started in Cuba in 1854. And when Fidel took over, one of the first things he did was try to eliminate religion. So he kicked the Jesuits out of Belen and he took over Belen. It was a big campus. And he took it over and used it to run his government. And then the Jesuits moved to Miami. And my dad's dad was 19 years old when he moved from Cuba to the States. And one of the first things he did was enlist in the military to fight Castro and go to the Bay of Pigs. So he went to Guatemala for 6 months to train. And then he was a paratrooper in the Bay of Pigs and was a prisoner of war there for 2 years. Before he was released in the prisoner exchange back to the States.
Isn't that crazy? So he's another one, Griff, that I took to Pestolitos, you know, another Cuban guy. We went there and he loved the food. And thanks to Griff, we're hooking up with Pestolitos all the time. That's where my oldest works. So big shout out to you. Appreciate that. And it's crushing it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the Cuban music on and Mark Anthony on. I thought it's a good vibe. I'm sure you've been through there once or twice since he's open. So it's nice. Okay, so tell me, how did you find the Wood Gym?
David Lee. So
who's David Lee?
David Lee is a quarterback coach from Miami. He's been all over the place. He started as a college coach. I know he worked at Ole Miss for a while. I'm pretty sure he worked at Arizona too. He was a quarterback coach for the Dolphins for a little bit. He worked with the Browns. He worked with the Cowboys. He's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks. Tony Romo, Chad Pennington.
Who's Chad Pennington?
Chad Pennington is Chaz's boy.
That's right. Yeah, and then when we started working with Cole, Chad's boy, his oldest boy, and then I guess it was the junior year, that's when David Lee saw him throwing the ball hot or coming out hot, whatever the quarterback terms were, and then he asked, and then all of a sudden Coach Lee has flooded me from his grandson on with great kids coming from Miami. So the pipeline from Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Miami is really cool, and they're all great people.
Yeah, David Lee, so he had a clinic a while back, and when he finished the clinic, which was just all about being quarterback, it was both physical and mental, but more mental, drawing up protections, drawing up plays, things like that. And the last thing he did was write a number on the board. And he goes, this is Charlie Petrone's number. He has my permission. He gave me his permission to share this with you guys. I'd highly recommend you guys go here. And he said the story about Cole Pennington. And I didn't really give it much thought. And then in around March, my mom and I were calling to set up throwing sessions with me and David Lee. And he said, spring break, I can't, but you should really think about going to see Petrone. And I was like, who's Petrone? And then he told me again. And my parents, we talked about it. They said it is a great idea. And then that's when we came in spring break. And I think it's worked pretty well.
Wow, I didn't know he did that. That's kind of cool to note to self on the dock with Griff. But yeah, that's yeah. So and the story of that when you came up in April with the whole family.
Yeah.
This kid's never spent the night out before. Spend the night with any of his buddies, and his family was they stayed at a resort here, Blackberry Resort, a world famous resort, and was it Townsend? Yeah, up in that area. Wallen. So they stayed there, and you stayed with me, and I got a text from your mom going, I can't believe we just dropped our boy off with this complete stranger that we don't know, but we connected well on the phone a couple times, and then hit it all from there, and we've been rolling ever since.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of good. So what do you think about the workouts? What do you think about the structure of the days and the food and putting on the weight? The big thing is the weight, and we talk about all the local athletes that are here when they say, I'm eating enough, and people like you that live with me, like, you don't know what eating is and how much or what it is.
So, the workouts, even when we're doing virtual, just being here, it's a little bit different because, like we were talking about the other day, we get here and we do the first workout with everybody, and then we're here till it's time to go to lunch. So we just get so much work in, and I think not only is it good work, but it gets me hungry. So I stuff my face at lunch, then we take a nap or watch the Arnold documentary, do something fun like that.
Yeah, we just chill on the couch and then go to bed and rinse and repeat and do it. But we have fun, and it's a lot of work. But you guys are all at the same type A. I know we go back to the show that way and we're going to jazz it up, but it's still the same. It's like you got to back these guys off that come in. It's like they want to do so much. They're so thirsty for knowledge, which is a blessing and a curse, because I'm like, hey, you're doing enough, and it's like, am I doing enough? Doing it. Let's go. Because I'm even thinking today, we'll go grab a bite to eat, rest again, and come back on Saturday afternoon. Same type of 2-3 sheets of paper, and then grab dinner, do the dinner thing, and then hopefully watch a big fight tonight. Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fight night. So we'll watch that, and then you're off to the airport tomorrow and starting your season.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's really good. I just want to get into, there's people have fears and non-fears of things. So I'm afraid of heights, and I figured out why, because I went to therapy for it to figure out why I'm afraid of heights. But we have a kid here that's across the table from me. This cat's scared of pussycats. And I just have the most adorable pussycat in my house named Mia. And he's afraid of her. And it's really getting on my nerves because he sits inside the kitchen, Griff and Ben. You've been in my kitchen. He's inside the island. So I can't cook. Like, he's like Velcro. You ever see the movie with Matt Damon, where they're Siamese twins, they're glued to us? Part of it's a funny movie.
Twins, yeah.
It's the best movie ever. I feel like that. So wherever I go, he goes. And he's really, really, really scared of pussy cats, and I just would like to know, where does that come from? And you could say you're allergic, but his brother came up in June and stayed with me for a week, and he busted him by going, he's not allergic, he's scared of him. And I mean scared, Griff. You won't get eye contact with him at the house. He's uneasy. Uneasier than anything I've ever had in the house. There's more stress with him than anything else in the house.
I have no idea where it's from. I have no idea.
But dude, I'm telling you, like, we pull up the subdivision, and I pull past the driveway and back up either Baby Pearl or the Ghost, and he's on the swivel. He's looking like this, like, I'm like, what's he looking for? What's going on? He's like, I'm looking for Felix, because I have an outdoor pussy cat too that looks like a lion, gorgeous. And he has
Scary.
to like step out. But now, what I was telling him a couple nights ago, I was on like this natural sober high. I was like, dude, you have cat, like now you mimic like Halle Berry from Batgirl or Michelle Pfeiffer that played in Batgirl, okay? He mimics their moves. So he not prances, but like you don't know where he is all the time. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is going to help you when you play quarterback in the pocket because you'll understand and feel presence. You think I'm joking, but everything is like he's on. He's turned on the whole time. He's high. He's like he's going the whole. It's crazy. If you come over tonight for fight night, you'll see it. It's bananas. I mean, it's like, can you please like do something to relax you, whatever that is, just to chill out. I might slip something in his brownies tonight. Just so he'd chill. He'd wake up with 3 pussy cats on him. Yeah, it's the most bizarre thing in the world because I can't get eye contact with him. He sits in the kitchen. Well, what's the other thing you do?
If Mia's in the room, I'm fine. The minute Mia comes out is when it starts.
Yeah, he was locked in the laundry room for like 20 minutes last night. He wouldn't come out. And I'm like, where is this cat? Because I showed him how to do laundry. We did it. And I'm sitting on the couch. And I'm like, he'll sit down for a minute. He was just gone. And then he finally came out of the laundry room. It's bananas, bro. You got to see it. I've never seen anybody like that before. So, I mean, that's my claim to fame with this guy. But he's going to do great things. So what schools, what are you doing now? Like, where are you? I mean, of course, you want to play college football, right?
Right.
And bigger the better, that type of jazz. So It's like Notre Dame, UNC, or like your two big time schools that you want to play, right?
Yeah,
but you got a whole season coming up.
Yeah, those are reach schools for sure.
Sure. Why?
Just, I mean, they're 2 of the best programs in the country. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's anyone's dream.
Yeah,
it'd be great, but we got a lot of work to do to get there.
Then what does that work look like for this year? Like, how like running backs go, I need over 1,000 rushing yards. What would you have to do to put up numbers to where?
I think it's more than a numbers thing, just what I put on tape. The way a little bit more fast twitch, showing I can get around the pocket, no one to escape, extend plays with my legs. I think my arm talent speaks for itself. And I think I've been told that by coaches at the high school level and the next level, but I think using my legs to extend plays is something that I should definitely show a big improvement on film. That's not to say I don't need to continue to throw better. I do. That's why I keep working with guys like David Lee to help me get there. But I think it's a lot more of showing I can be athletic on film.
Perfect. Yeah, I like it. All right. I just wanted something quick, something not that bad. This pussycat thing has really got me rattled, bro. I'm telling you, you don't understand, guys. When you're sitting there in the house with him, you're like, here we go. Like, he can't walk in the house. Like, he sits in the car and has to check all underneath the cars. Like, it's psychotic is everywhere.
Felix is a scary guy, dude.
Did you get attacked by a cat?
That's exactly what I was telling him. I had an athlete
last
that was afraid of Rottweilers.
So that's like a big thing. Like kids, like when they're like bitten by a dog or like attacked by a cat, they kind of like they go feral and kind of flip out.
Last time I was here, Mia almost attacked me on the kitchen counter.
He was sitting on the kitchen on the other side. Never been on the other side again. But like she jumped on the stool and he went ah, and 3 stools went flying down. I'm like, this guy's really allergic to him. I mean, he must turn into a different creature. All right, everybody. I just wanted to give a brief shout out to my man. Thanks for the support and come back up. I love you. It's so much fun. I mean, we were eating at a local establishment here named Brown Bag. Big shout out to Brown Bag like yesterday, and a lady came up and goes, "Is this your son?" And what do you always say?
I say thank you, Chaz. You look like me.
Thank you, Chaz. You look like me. Yeah. And I was like, no, but they all should be. So that's that. And we're putting a wrap on it. We got to go eat. Thanks for coming. Thanks for doing the show.
I appreciate it.
A couple more workouts and then off to the airport tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, buddy.
You too, Chaz. Thank you.
Thank you.